Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we have something a lot different and pretty special if you want to actually introduce yourself.
Yo, my name is Kuroviiii. I'm a Twitch
Yo.
streamer over on twitch.tv. I have my own television channel where I play Overwatch. And today I have come to seek aid from the legendary Paz Overwatch on YouTube to see how I can make my aggressive flank Zen strategy actually work in a competitive setting. And I hope that I can actually improve off some dope VOD reviewing from like the legend himself, you know? I look up to this guy, so I hope he can help me out today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think this is something that a lot of people kind of want to learn more about in terms of flanking on Zen. Because, I mean, even in the quote-unquote conventional way to play Zenyatta, there still are moments where you have to get aggressive and you kind of have to flank. So, I mean, what I'm going to do is, people that are going to be watching this on YouTube, I'm going to make sure that I'm telling you, hey, this is for the professional Kuroviiii. Don't do this. But at the same time, I'm also going to, with you, Kuroviiii, I'm also going to tell you how you can actually pull it off rather than, hey, just do this instead. Because, I mean, part of your content is, I've seen your clips, is literally to just flank and kill as many people as you can. Yeah, which can work. There are just better ways you can go about it, and that will still be flank Zen and still look amazing in terms of clip-wise, which is why I don't want to take that away from your playstyle, but I'll also give you options of like different ways to do it.
Yeah, and if I can give a reason why I actually opt in to playing Zen so aggressively instead of like, I guess the commonplace way of playing Zen sort of in a safer manner is I just don't find it as fun. Like
it's fun to go in the back line, you know?
Like, yeah, I like to try hard and play competitively and give it my all, but sometimes people like to say I'm not playing optimally, and I don't really care about playing optimally. I like winning in my own way, so...
And I mean, it still is optimal if you can refine it. If you can refine it,
exactly.
I mean, there's reasons why Nolan is 4 or 5 every season when he like tries to play his way on Moira.
Yeah, I'd love to play optimally in the play style I decide to actually play in.
Yeah,
so to speak.
So okay, let's get into this actually, and you can see my screen right and everything that I'm saying or writing.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I just want to talk about compositions because at the end of the day, you still have to understand basic macro and kind of understand what's going on with your team so you can flank better and understand how hard you can flank every game. You can flank every game, but sometimes if you flank the same way, you're just going to feed. And you can flank the same way in another game and you can straight carry. I mean, it seems that way whenever I'm watching your streams, that it's kind of like, hey, he thinks this is still going to work, but like he just needs to switch something really minute. And I think bringing this down to the characters you're playing with is going to help a lot, and as well as the map. But that's something that'll be easier to do with time.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, please slow me down. So you're playing Zen, which is pretty much going to be a constant, I feel, for your playstyle. So I'm not really going to tell you not to play Zen, even though I think BAP would probably be a better option here. If your Ana wasn't on BAP, you should probably go BAP or Lucio. But obviously that's not going to be consistent, and you're going to play Zen because you want to play Zen. And you know, we're going to make that work. So you're playing Zen with a rush comp, so you have to make up for not make up for lost time, but make up for the fact that you're not playing Lucio. So your team needs to know, like, hey, we need to play a lot slower because we don't have a Lucio. You also have to know that Ryan wants to play a lot faster and wants to close the distance. So there are certain characters that you're going to have to pressure out in order to let him to do that safely. So if we look at the enemy team comp, they're playing a very much spam angles kind of composition as compared to your brawl comp, because you have the Ryan tank line, which wants to close distance. They kind of want to just play in a lot of different spaces and try to force you out. So because of that, you have to make sure that you're like looking for the Junkrat, looking for the Cassidy, maybe the Hog on the flank, because you do have Ana Zen, which does roll Hog whenever you get the chance to. You need to be looking for like flank angles that could possibly do a lot of damage to Reinhardt and trying to like duel them so that you can do a 50-50 trade with them. So, or in terms of what we say at the top levels, you want to run Tracer so you can match the enemy Tracer so your backline is safer. In this sense, you're kind of doing the same thing as Zenyatta, except it's a lot harder and not conventional. So,
something I have to say on that is, I kind of struggle in that aspect because sometimes I get a little bit tunnel visioned on what's happening in front of my screen that I completely forget about what's happening not on my screen. I think that's also like a problem a lot of diamond and lower players struggle with, is they only kind of keep in their mental space of action, like what's going on their screen and what they're doing mechanically to win that fight, instead of kind of working on that game sense. So I think that's also somewhere where I struggle. So yeah, that like matching like the hog or somebody in the backline is something I tend to slip my mind. So yeah, it is something I feel like I also agree I kind of have to work on here.
So do you need me to like elaborate kind of more about that, or do you understand what I'm going at here?
I think I understand what you're going at. I
mean, to bring it all together, the main thing you want to look for is kind of how fast does your comp want to play, in terms of like what makes them activated. So like for Reinhardt, he needs to be close and he needs to do damage that way. How can I help him do that as a support? To a very basic degree, that's kind of what will help you think through these situations, rather than, oh, I have Reinhardt and it's King's Row and I just know that Reinhardt's good on King's Row because I've seen it before. No, Reinhardt's good on King's Row because it's easy to close distance and like get right up to people's faces, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why you run Ryan on King's Row. You don't have to run Ryan on King's Row. I mean, you can run this composition. You just have to play differently according to like what they will have. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like, just think about what other characters and how fast they want to play, how they want to play, and it'll help you understand how you should then play. And I think it'll help you think through things easier. But we kind of talked about all that. I mean, in terms of Transcendence usage, you're probably just going to be using this for the Sig ult, but you can also, I mean, you can be very aggressive when you have Trans. So I think something that might help you a little bit when you are flanking is also assessing how aggressive you can flank when you have Transcendence as compared to when you don't have Transcendence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, sure, you could play the conventional way and just not use Trans until the Sig ults, but maybe what you're going to try to do if you're flanking on Zen is, yeah, you have Trans and yeah, he has Sig ult, but if I'm going to play, I'll play more aggressively and I will target the Sig first every single time so that I can use the Trans whenever I really want to in a team fight. If that's what you want to do, because like that's another option.
Yeah.
So if you are going to play more aggressive and they do have an ult like Grab or Sig ult, the first target needs to be the target that's going to take your Trans out so that you can continue to play aggressively, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say just because I don't want to go too far in the macro, but we're on the same page and we're good to go. Yes, yes.
So Reinzar here. Their priority is get close, and the other team composition is more about playing angles and keeping that sort of range?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the reason why that is because the Hog can flank and there's just a lot more. There's not really a whole lot of synergy going on with them, so it kind of is just down to like, let's just Call of Duty them down, while at least you guys have the synergy of the Reinzar, and you also have the Grab Dragon in there as well.
Yeah.
These comps aren't great, but like to a basic value, I think it's kind of easier to see that if you conceptualize it.
Okay.
Alright, so let's go into this. Alright, you're just playing with your team. This is totally fine. Orb on the Reinhardt. We're chilling. Honestly, I would probably... Never mind, this is fine. Right, we're just chilling. Alright, so something... No, let's keep going. I think that's like very nitpicky. Sorry. I think this is totally fine what you're doing right now. Keeping the orb on the support looks good. That was just risky, but it's like right now this game's just really all over the place from the enemy team, so it's hard for me to really quantify anything right now. What I would say is if there is a Hog right here and you force him out and he's just going to kind of sit there, you can kind of tell your team like, hey, green light, let's take the 65 on point, especially if you have a Reinhardt, that you can just tell your team to walk in here. Or it can be the green light for you to be like, okay, I'm not looking at this anymore. They're just going to give me this free high ground because right here now I'm flanking and I'm getting a lot of value. Okay. So if this Hog isn't going to do anything and he's just going to sit there, you don't need to really pay attention to that threat, especially when he's all the way back here because you already forced him out.
Yeah.
Okay, but like right here, what I would do is I would just immediately be taking that high ground and not really caring about that Hog because you're never going to kill him. He can always just sit there indefinitely. So the way that you're going to effectively kill him is if you force him to come at you.
Okay.
So yeah, you do eventually actually get up here. I would just say that if you want to flank on Zen, you need to do this quicker if they're going to give it to you. And then immediately you're getting value. I would also stay up here. There's no reason for you to really drop. I mean, you can just shoot away, no damage fall off, you're fine. But I mean, if you want to continue to be aggressive, I guess that's fine. Yeah, this right here, I don't think this is the flank you need to be taking. It's totally okay if you take a flank, but like, there's no real need for you to do that, right? If you're going to drop off this high ground, what's a better place you can go instead of going under into the mailbox here?
On top into the harder place to hit me from?
On top so that they can't walk in you, and you also have better angles in the long run. You have this angle, and you also have this angle too. Like if you really wanted to go there.
Okay.
Personally, I think you could have stayed here a little longer until they actually got out, because I think you could have gotten a pick on one of their supports. Or at least force this junk to not have free reign on your Ana. But I think instead of going down here, it's just much better to play up here if you're going to flank. Because the other thing you have to understand is your Ryan's trying to walk in, and you're not activated in the fight right now. Meanwhile, he thought you were from up here or even up here.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay. So you're taking a little bit too long to flank that everyone's going to be dead by the time you get there. But let's see. You end up right-clicking the map. He wasn't looking at you. Yeah, and they're just not looking at you. The thing is, at better ranks, they're going to look at you. And also, it's a lot easier to just kill them from this angle up here. Like, they're not going to be expecting you from there. But it did work out. So far. But like right here, when you need to like get back, you're probably gonna die here. Yeah. Meanwhile, if you were up here, you're not gonna die, and your pressure is just gonna crumble them, because you can just walk here and they can't kill you. Or you can walk up here and get an even better angle, or over here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
That's just a better angle to take it from, and you need to think about where those angles can possibly be. I think it's a lot easier for me to teach you in terms of like on a defense side than it is offense, but that's just like one of those things. This is fine. Discording the hug. Yep, cool. Let's see what you do here. Discording the junk, and we're walking forward with the team. This is good. We kill the junk, continue to walk forward. Killing the BAP. Yep, totally fine. You're just doing what you need to do. Okay. I mean, you don't really need to go on a flank there. You can just continue to walk with the team. I think like you can have a flank Zen playstyle, right? But like you don't need to always flank for people to think that you are a flank Zen player. Like there are times where like if you flank, you're not a flank Zen player, you're just being a dumbass. You know what I mean? And you don't want to just do that. You want to make sure you're doing it at good times, which I mean is totally viable, and you can do that. So yep, you're just typing whatever. Right. So here's the thing, right? If you're going to flank right here this close, you need to tell your team that you are going to flank right here this close, and that they need to be ready to engage, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to flank, you cannot be quiet in chat. Like you have to lead the team and tell them that you're doing this kind of stuff. So like the way that you're going to make this flank work is not just by sitting here and being like, okay, I'll just kill 6 because I want to and my name's Kuroviiii. What you need to be saying is like, hey guys, like play this corner here so that when they walk out, I'll let you guys know when I'm going to start walking, and then you walk into them, you know? Yeah. So like when they're at this point, you can then actually reveal yourself from the flank, start doing damage, and then the pressure comes from there, and then they're surrounded.
That's kind of like a pinch, right?
Yeah, and if you want to set up for a pinch every single time, that's great, but you need to communicate it. Also, instead of talking in chat right here, if you're actually going to look for these type of flanks at this specific angle, you need to be trying to get on this high ground as quickly as possible. Because then, if you do get caught out, it's very hard to actually catch you. As compared to right here, they can literally just walk in you. Right here, they're going to have to fly to you. And also, if someone actually starts pressuring you out, you can just get back to your team here as well.
Yeah, you're actually going to see I make a really big mistake this next part. I remember this game.
So let's kind of see what happens here. Thanks. Yeah, you were too late. Now you're going to walk into the hog, which, I mean, if you hear footsteps, just stop the flank immediately. It's dead.
What I actually did here is I looked at him. And I just
my god, no way. He knows. Okay, somehow you're going to get out of this, actually. Okay, but then you don't notify your team, and you're probably going to die. Yeah, I don't think you told your team here. No, you don't tell your team. He should die right there. If he's going to be that... I mean, to be honest, you're making the mistake, but that guy should die immediately. Oh, no way you go back to him.
Yeah, I walked back into him.
Okay, then, yeah. Kuroviiii, you know better than that.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay,
Yeah,
let's keep
I
going
do.
here. So yeah, that's gonna hurt you guys. So like right here, if you're playing with your team, you just need to play natural cover, whether it be up here or whether it be here. I think it's just a better space. There is no flanking here. Like, it's cool to have a flanking playstyle, but just know when it's time to like, when you literally can't flank, and like no one's gonna blame you for not flanking. So like right here, yeah, this is a great space to be in. You're just chilling, doing what you need to do. The tough part here is that you use trans already, so it's really difficult for you to win this. And I think that's the main mistake we have to be really looking at here. And yeah, this fight's pretty much dead. You should be telling your team to just get out. Unless Ari's looking for a big grab, which, yeah, she's... Okay, now you can go right back in. Oh yeah, and then now you're going to get aggressive. This is fine. Like, mechanically not too bad. I think just, like, the big thing right there was you need to communicate to your team when you're going to flank, and don't peek a hog right there. Let your tell your team and let them deal with it, you know? Your team's there for a reason. Let's see what team 3 goes on here. Or point 3 goes on. Okay, right here. You're just looking for some damage. Right here, you can really just look for right clicks. You don't really need to be looking for left clicks there. And right here, I mean, if you're going to set up a flank, there's places to do it now so that you can get there before they do. So, like, right here is totally fine. That's about it. That's about all the places you're going to flank. But the later you do it, they're going to get there first, and then your flank's going to have no value. Right here, yeah, you're just playing with your Ryan, which is really fine. If you're not going to flank, I would just be playing on cart here as Zen, because there's no reason for you really not to. On this point at least, because you can right click pretty much anywhere on the cart with Zenyatta. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I think right there is just positioning issue. I thought you were going for a flank. It's either you go for it or you don't, you know? So like right here,
in the middle.
yeah, right here, I would just be playing on cart and just riding it from like this angle right here and playing cover, not playing right here and like making a choice. It's either one or the other. Don't play in between ever. You will always lose because of that.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'll see more constructive things when we actually get to defense. Okay, yeah, Discord immediately. Yep. It's just a rule of thumb here. Discord immediately. Discord what your team or you are shooting at. Okay, you're just chilling. A big thing that's gonna be about it's gonna be all about what's okay. Thursday's video is gonna talk about this a lot. Even though you have the shield, like, please play cover as Zenyatta. I think that this is a big thing. You kind of think you're invincible, and you're taking a lot of damage, and you just don't have the health to keep that damage, like, from being crucial, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I understand your shield's right here, but that shield can break, and you can charge right clicks in this cover, and then when you get to, like, 4 orbs, you can peek out and then shoot. Like, you have the mechanics to do that. You don't need to be seeing them the entire time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it's a small thing, but... Okay... Like right here, you don't need to be super engaged, but if you're going to start walking forward, like you just need to commit. Right there, I don't think you needed to trank. You weren't really in any danger after that. Okay, this flank's totally fine. You just got to tell your team, and they're being aggressive, so it's going to work out. Okay, and it's fine. All right, so you rolled them there. I mean, there were a lot of mistakes, but there were like really nitpicky things. So I'm interested to see what you actually mess up on defense. Do you have any questions?
Nope. I understand. I feel like I thoroughly understood everything right there.
All right, cool.
Work on positioning. Let my team know that I'm going to flank. And instead of sitting in the middle, try to play in the front. Or try to either go to flank at the right time before they get there before me to set up. Or play good positioning further back on cart with my Ana.
Once you win a fight, you have to make the decision of where you're going to position yourself for next fight, because since you won, you get to pretty much defend the next fight. So you need to take that advantage, or else you're going to make it significantly harder for you to actually do things. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is with flanking, like, your flanking can work. You just have to let your team know when you're actually going to do it so that they can engage with you. On defense, it's a lot easier to do because there's a lot more places in which you can do it. So that's kind of what I was waiting for you to get on defense, so I could teach you how to... Because, like, you can flank a lot more on defense than you can on offense. And that's just a given.
Yep. Because
you already have the position while the attackers need to go into it. So, like, you don't really have a lot of space to flank, whereas defense you do. So let's kind of see where you go with this.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, I'm not in love with this flank angle, but let's see how you have forced your team to play with it. So like, I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Because it's important that you understand how this flanking stuff works if you're gonna pull it off. So if you're gonna play on this high ground here, okay, actually let's zoom this out a little bit more. Okay, can you see everything? Yeah. If you're gonna play on this high ground here and you're just gonna wait, where should your team be, and where does the enemy, like, guide me where you should engage, where the enemy team should be for you to engage?
My enemy team should be
1, 2, I don't know, like 3.
I'd say 2 or to the left of 2.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's the general area. So like 2 is where you should go, right? That's like when you should call your team to walk in when you're flanking, right? So then, where should your team play? Should your team be playing on 2, or is that fine for them to play on 2? Or should they like go 1? Sorry, 1. Should they play directly on 2, or should they do 3, where it's like kind of a mixture of the 2, but they rotate back into 2 and then back into 1?
I feel like it should be that last one where you say 1 to 2 and back into 1.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was really, really complicated. It was almost like I was giving you the answer because I was like, holy shit, that's what it is. But yeah, that's correct. It's like you don't want to overstay your welcome here. You want to kind of make it like scout them here, but when they start walking in, immediately walk back. You can even give them the point, and then like you come from here, and then they have to cut right back in. But you need to like make sure that your team knows that like, hey, I want to take the engagement on point. Don't take the engagement on choke, or like, do you guys see where I am? Like we're gonna take the choke or the fight on point so that I can go from behind them. The thing that you have to be aware of, does that make sense? Before I go on?
That makes sense.
The thing, because like if you're playing with your team, like the quote unquote correct way to do it is you just play here with like a Sigma and you just spam them the whole time. The thing is if you want to do this, I mean, it's risky. It's high risk, high reward. You can make it work in lower ranks. If the team does go that, like, okay, you need to ask your team to scout, hey, did anyone come up this window here that I didn't see? Or like, are they going to walk over this way to like force me out or go all the way around? They generally won't if it's Brawl v Brawl. But you need to make sure that your team is like telling you this, so that the moment that they start looking this way, you can just walk all the way over here and go back to your team. Okay. If you stay on the flank here, you're just gonna lose, and you're not gonna be a good quote unquote flank Zen. You're just gonna not be good, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have to understand when it's time to not flank, but you can force a flank if you want to.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So let's kind of see how you do this, and get into it. Not my favorite flank angle, but you know what? We can make it work. Okay, the big thing. We're gonna take this back a little bit. If you're gonna flank, they cannot know, not even slightly know that you are there. So let's see how much of your body is actually gonna poke out here. Because I think you poked your body out, and better players are gonna see that. Well, you can see the health bar there. Yep, you poked out. Monkey sees you. Oh, he should have seen you. See what I'm saying there? Yeah. Do not ever poke out. There's a reason why I'm telling you that your team should let you know if people are here. It's because if you poke out, they'll just go for you, and it's too late at that point. The whole way that this flank is going to work is if they don't know you are there. If they know you are there, you are dead. Because then they will immediately turn on you, and your team, they won't even be here that your team can follow up on it.
Yeah.
So it's important that, again, communication is literally what's going to make the flank work. Flankers that don't communicate always are going to die, like all the time. Okay, I can't talk to him right now. Let's go. But yep, let's see here. You do peek out a few times, so they should really know that you're there, but you know, it's diamond, so you're going to get away with it. You end up doing that with the Reinhardt. You try to right click the Ana, unlucky, it doesn't work. Honestly, dude, like, I wouldn't even shoot the Ana there. Like, this monkey is over, like, way in. Okay, that's not a good color. He's over engaged here. If you just discord the monkey and shoot him 5 times in the body, you can kill him, and then the fight's dead right there. I don't think killing Ana is necessarily the right kill there. Does that make sense? Why?
Yeah,
like,
so
you don't
just
really
kill the
need to kill.
over-engagement?
Like at this point, he's making a huge mistake that you can capitalize on almost immediately. I would just go for that. You don't need to always go for healers. If you see someone doing dumb shit like this, just kill it. And I know you know that. Unlucky that you missed that on the Ana, but you're still not getting punished for it. And Dante is just going in. Not the real Dante, by the way, Jet. That was clean. Like your aim literally isn't bad. Your aim's probably better than mine. It's at least up there. But then this is one of those things like, where are you gonna flank this next fight? If not, I mean, this is fine. But if you're gonna try to flank again, like, you're kind of feeding. If you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's keep going. All right. All right, so like right now, you're not going to flank. So if you're not going to flank, I would literally just put yourself on this high ground back here, and that's like where you should path after the fight. Because playing with your Rhine without a Lucio, you're probably going to die here. I mean, I don't know. I think the high ground's just better. But then again, you are playing against Ives, so maybe playing with the Rhine's better, but like that was good. I mean, you just did what you needed to do. If you want to take this is totally fine. Just, I would take it from a different approach. Like, I would probably come... I'd probably rotate all the way around here and just take this angle here so that you're not over aggressing. Because then, like, it's much harder to kill you if you're here as compared to when you're on this corner here.
A lot easier to go in, right? Gets to me quicker.
Yeah, and you have to understand that, like, you don't need to be right up next to someone to hit them as Zenyatta. Like, especially when you're shooting tanks. Like, you do not need to be close. You need to be comfortable with being farther away.
Gotcha.
So, like, right here, they should be able to kill you if they find you. As compared to, like... See, like, this... You're actually... Yeah, you... If that ball was better, you would have died. Meanwhile, if you're all the way back here, that ball can't do anything. He's just pressured. Like, something as small as that, dude, is going to make you masters. Does that make sense? Like, how important that actually is? Like, that seems like, oh, that's dumb. I just play a little further back. That makes so much of a difference.
I can see that I kind of have a positioning issue right here. Like,
it's like... Players that, and I'm not singling you, I'm saying, like, even if you're watching this on YouTube, if you've made it this far, which, by the way, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me know in the comments down below. But, like, this kind of stuff makes you a much better player, and it's so small that you just think it's dumb, but it does make such a difference. Like, you need to think about this kind of stuff in a grander scheme. And then, at this point, like, sure, you can go right back and try to kill the Ana there. I would just try to continue killing this ball. I mean, that's just probably my playstyle. I mean, if you think you can kill that Ana, go for it. I would discord this first before you start doing right clicks so that you kill it. Make sure you always are discording the target before you shoot it. Because right there, he's actually, like, he had a chance to get away. But, I mean, obviously that's an extreme where it's like, dude, the discord doesn't matter. But there are other situations where that could have hindered you.
Yeah.
And there are other points in this VOD which you, like, don't immediately discord. I'm like, what's going on there? Okay, another situation. Am I flanking or am I going to play smart? Got to make that decision before the fight starts. Also, there's a soldier up there. What the hell? Okay. Got to make that decision immediately. And then think of the next position you're going to play. Just got to keep thinking things. I mean, if you wanted to flank again, dude, if you wanted to play in the freaking movie theater off the rip, you could. And then you could switch it up and play here. And then you could freaking rotate around from hotel. Or you just have to think of different things and be creative and, like, let your team know what you're doing. But, like, right here, it's like, you can't flank if you didn't already set it up immediately because you don't have a lot of time. Even at these lower elos, you don't have time. You need to be thinking about, like, where you want to flank from. Hell, dude, you could literally sit in here and say, hey, don't even look at them, let them have point, and you can come behind with, like, if you had Trank, you could come behind, try to kill their Ana, and then, like, Trank your team in. Like, that's stuff you can do. You just have to think about it before the fight happens and, like, do it quick. Because I think that might be another part of the reason why it's not working out for you is because you're, like, flanking in the middle of the fight where you just don't have the space to do it.
It doesn't work. My team's already fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like...
While I'm trying to flank, it becomes a
point.
5v6.
It's too late at that point. But, like, the moments in which you're already ready to go, like that Hollywood clip, you were already ready to go, the one that you put on Twitter. Yeah. You were already ready to go, and your team was ready to support you there. You didn't even tell them to. They just knew. And, like, that stuff works every time, and you have the mechanics to pull it through. But the stuff that you do during the fights, like, you're not even flanking at that point, you know?
Gotcha, yeah.
So, like, yeah, instead of typing in chat, you gotta make sure you're in the right spot.
I was actually reading chat right there, I think.
Oh wait, you're streaming. My
Yeah,
bad.
I'm streaming.
It gets
cool.
easier.
You're right.
It gets easier to walk and like know where you're going once you kind of think through it. Yeah, right there. You gotta just stay when you're playing against a dive composition. Always just stick with your team if you're gonna get singled out, unless you're trying to flank. But if you're gonna try to flank against a dive comp, you need to do it faster so you can rotate away, not rotate into where you want it to go.
Yeah.
Like you need to make them use cooldowns to force you out. It looks like you tried to get back there. Whatever. Alright, they're on ball still, so just keep that in mind when you're flanking. If you're against really flanky DPS and stuff, you have to play a lot safer with your flanks and make sure they don't see you and make sure the fight goes quick.
Got you.
But you do have Trank, so you can be really aggressive on the flanks if you want to. So, like, in terms of what I was saying about being creative, I would factor that into your creativity. Like, hey, I can be even more aggressive now against this composition, and I can play in really dumb spots because I have the Trank to get me out of things. So, like, if you want to go for those stupid positions that they will never think of, and it will work just drastically because you have Trank, like, that is something you can do. But I'm trying to give you the tools to actually pull it off more consistently. And I think this will actually help you.
No, I think it is already helping. Now I kind of understand it. Like, actually, like, now I can, like, the crazy thing is, like, seeing it and having somebody tell me what I'm doing wrong kind of lets me already envision it in my head what I should be doing.
Yeah.
In game, like, I'm actually starting to think about what to do in game now, like,
Yeah.
how I can take this into my next game.
And I'm not telling anyone that's watching this to do this play literally ever, but hey, if you can pull it off, make it happen. I'm just giving you the tools to do
Kuroviiii,
it. If you're trying to be the Kuroviiii Overwatch, consider it, But let's keep going here. Yeah, playing on high ground's totally fine. If you had more time to set up, you could also come from over at this angle here once they're like, if you want to tell your team to like give up the library corner and then you can like walk in, it's totally fine. If you had the high ground here, you could just chill here and then come from up here and maybe like take the fight on that library corner again. And just have a Zen up here in the back line that's just doing God's work. It's another weird one you could put. I mean, I'm just trying to give you like kind of what I'm thinking in terms of flank angles. Generally places that are you won't be seen because they won't path through them, and there's a common fight place that everyone will be ready to go, and you can just like pretty much go through and just roll through them. Right here, this is totally fine. You're kind of playing in a weird spot, but it's still like with your team, which is good. So yeah, this right here, you can't do this, man. The fight's already going on. You can't flank mid-fight. Like, you just got to take it and walk in. Yeah. The whole idea of flanking in this game is that you are flanking before the fight starts. Like, you are already set up on the flank. So, like, I don't know if you've probably not watched the DPS stream, but when I'm saying I'm OTF, like I'm on the flank, it's usually like after a fight happens, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go for a flank shatter. That's an important one to understand. Like, hey, I'm gonna flank shatter. It's the same idea, but like you're trying to flank shatter every fight because you can, because you're Kuroviiii, Yeah. So like this right here, this is like 5 seconds out of the fight where you did just get a pick, but like now it's a 5v5 because you're like, yeah, man, I'm flanking, bro. I'm on that flank pack. Don't be on that flank pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, like, dude, you probably could have killed all 5 of them if you just told your Ryan to walk in and just clean up house. This is just really risky because now you run the chance to get hooked, and you're forcing your team to actually invest more ultimates. See? And this is what's going to happen. Okay.
That hog is so bad, bro.
Dude,
I should have died.
You should have died, yes. You understand, at least. You're actually still going to...
Tranquility.
Kuroviiii, man.
Oh, Trance, it's all good, bro. I won.
Bro, you didn't need to.
I'm trolling, yeah, I know.
You could have been so much more aggressive with it. Yeah, see, like, this kind of stuff right here, like, everything I'm seeing before is like, holy crap, this guy could probably be, like, Masters and pull this off. And then I see this, I'm like, dude, you are trolling so hard. This is plat level trolling, bro. But if you fix this plat level stuff, you will be Masters at least. Like, at least, dude. Because this right there, this will lose you games. It just will. And I hate this. I'm not trying to say you're bad. It's just like
No,
this kind of
I
stuff.
agree.
Like you're a solid player, but you just make some really stupid decisions like twice a game, and it probably actually is the bane of some of your games. Sadly. But yeah, right here you can be aggressive. I like that you fucking step. I mean, obviously that could have been cleaner, but like aggression is so important to have in this game. And like learning how to actually use aggression is the hard part. But once you get it, yep, you're good. All right, right here, you're just, again, yeah, look for like what you're gonna do next. At this point, you're just trying to clean up, but yeah, it's kind of weird in that sense that you're trying to clean up right now. But if okay, so like in this situation, the fight hasn't been cleaned up yet, so you can't really go on the flank. You kind of need to just stick with your team or play in a spot where they can't go. So like in this situation, you did do what I said, and you immediately started to look for a better position. The thing is that you didn't. It wasn't the right time to go for a better position because the fight wasn't technically over because you guys didn't clean these people up yet, and these people are already starting to walk back in. This won't happen a lot, but now that you died to it, and I told you, I think you'll be looking out for it better. Okay, you have to walk all the way back, so none of this really matters. But let's see where you go here. Looks like your team actually won this fight, and the enemy is regrouping. So if you see this kind of opportunity, I don't think you have enough time to do the flank all the way up here, but I think you could play up here mid-fight. But you'd have to tell your team, like, hey, give them space. They have, like, Nano Blade. Let's just walk back, play for the grab, and then I can come from behind them. You could maybe Nano me Zarya, and I can kill, like, 2 from behind them, and then you guys walk in after the Nano Blade. Does that make sense? I kind of just spit a bunch of words at you, but does that make sense?
What I got from it is set up to a reasonable position that you have time with, like to do, instead of trying to go for something extra, like going all the way behind them. Like try to pick a position you have time to actually take.
Yeah,
and
that's part of it.
Try to communicate that with your team to hopefully set something up, like creating space so you actually are able to make an opportunity with the play. I think that's kind of what you're trying to tell me here.
Yeah, and then the whole example is like, hey, if they have Nano Blade and I don't have Trank, we just whenever they Nano Blade, you guys, like, your team will kite back, grab it, kill that, and then while the rest of the team's gonna walk in through here to try to get them while their backs are turned, you can then rotate from behind them and then you pinch them again.
Yeah.
Like, are you making this harder on yourself? Yes. But you know what? You're Kuroviiii. It's light work. You're the 1994-1995 blockbuster video game champion. The predecessor of Dr. Disrespect, the Doc. I don't know if you understand that reference. But
Don't understand.
Damn, you don't
Oh
understand
no,
the Doc?
it's Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect, I'm the 1993-1994 blockbuster video game champion. Do you know what you're talking to?
Halo, right?
Yeah. I don't know. He's a character.
I'm pretty sure that's from when he used to play Halo. No, Halo wasn't even out yet. It's from something stupid.
Wait, is he actually the 1993-1994 blockbuster video game champion? It's not just
something
a joke?
like that. Yeah.
Is he actually that? Dude, that's crazy.
I think he played in some blockbuster championship.
That's actually so funny. Okay, yeah, that's a good Discord orb. And you actually did end up getting nanoed. It's kind of crazy. So it worked out for you. Worked out for you. My mic's just being weird today.
Yeah, no, that's your mic, bro.
Yeah, that's my mic. I think I need a new mic. Alright, so yeah, that's fine. Right here, I'm totally fine with you spamming, but let's look for what the next position is. Immediately. You have a Pharah, so it's like, you know, it's going to be a little interesting. Okay, that's fine. I mean, this is just... Like, I would never tell anyone else this is fine, but I guess in your situation it'll work fine. I would just look to play back or look more aggressive immediately and not try to duel that Pharah. I would not try to
anybody else playing conventionally, right?
Yeah, no. This is the Kuroviiii playstyle, so like, you know what, you can make it work. Instead of dueling that Pharah there, I would just ignore her and either look for the flank here or look for the flank over here. And not let her know where that's going. I would just do it sooner. Looks like here you're going to try to go all the way around on the high ground, which is totally fine. They won't even expect it. Like, you could go all the way around up here, and the Pharah will be flying there, and you could 5-orb her. If that's the play you want to go for, though, you got to go for it immediately. And right now, with how much time you gave up, I don't think you'll be there in time to actually pull it off. But we'll see, because you're actually going to do it. Nope, you're not going to do it. Yeah, this is too early. This is too early because your team's not going to be able to help you out.
I actually don't fight yet. I don't shoot yet. Like I wait.
Yeah,
I think.
But the thing is, it's like if you're just going to wait here, you have to also factor in the time that you could have rotated somewhere else, and like you have to. It's the cost benefit analysis of waiting here and looking for a pick.
Yeah.
So I'm introducing that to you here because I think if you play all the way up top, you'll have an easier time actually picking off this Pharaoh, which is going to give trouble to your team because you have a Hanzo Torb that might not be able to do that at this rank.
Yeah.
I mean, this approach isn't bad because if you do actually pull this off, you'll have that approach again up top. But if you had already done this up top once, then doing this one below the second time might actually be better because they'll be expecting you up top. They won't be expecting you from below. But here it just takes too long, and then your team's already getting run over by the time you actually start pulling off, and Ana's hitbox is hard to hit, so whatever. You do get it eventually. It's just a little too late. I think if you rotated faster, you would have had the time you needed to really pull it up. Mercy gap? No? Okay, right here, I almost would say just die on cart, and then just play for another fight with your team, but if you want to, I mean, you could get away with living in the subway and like waiting for your team to get back so you could flank again. At this rank, I think you can. So let's see if you actually do that. Okay, you actually try to bail out your Zarya, and okay. I don't think you needed to trank there. I think what you needed to do was just play cover and, you know, I don't think you needed to panic trank. You don't even need to play with team. Like what I'm saying here is like you kind of like you played really, really fast here when you didn't need to because you needed to wait for your Zarya. Let's bring this back a bit. It'll be easier to explain that way. So yeah, right here, you do a lot of damage here to this Reinhardt. At this point, you're a bit too far. I would start backing up because right now, what you just signaled to this Ryan is he has Discord and he needs to wait to get healed up. And your value's done. Like, you don't need to do anything else here. You have equalized the fight that was already supposed to be the next fight up here. Probably not winnable. You've already done a lot of work here. So what I would be doing is instantly backpedaling because you're not killing this. Unless the Zarya was on like this corner right here and ready to push with you. But she wasn't. So like you did what you need to do and you're actually keeping your Zarya alive by doing that. The thing is you keep pushing here and you're like, well shit. Now the Hog's here. Now you're in a bad spot. Do we see how, like, instead of pushing forward here, the better is just, like, get the damage here while you can and then back off? Because now, like, the pressure's here and they literally can't walk. Because they don't have Ana.
Yeah.
And your Zarya's here, max charge, about to kill the soldier. Like, now you just flipped the fight that was otherwise not flippable.
I think what this might have been is, I remember that tunnel vision thing I told you at the beginning of this VOD? Where I feel like sometimes I just tunnel vision and then I'm just like, oh god. And then I put myself in a position where I'm like, well, I can't get out of this situation without maybe popping trance. So I guess you're right. If I would have just maybe thought about it a bit more and just backed up, I probably could have been in a way better position for my team to fight.
It's just kind of like
my Zarya over there actually kills that soldier.
Yeah,
so.
that soldier's definitely dead. He's way too far. I think it's like you have to kind of understand in this situation you can't get too kill hungry when you're trying to kill a Rhine. Even though he's this low, like you're not going to be able to close the distance enough here. You're just not. Like, that's just kind of like you live and you learn kind of thing, and that you should just let him go and back off. It's not like you can think really through that. I think it's just like, you know, he's too far and you've done what you needed to do. You just back off. Yeah, this here, unlucky. You trank. You didn't need to. That Zarya should have killed that dude. Zarya, he was 1 health. But yeah, you're kind of setting yourself up on a flank again, but it's with the Zarya, so it's actually pretty decent. So your team just needs to wait. Right here, I think you're really, really tunnel visioned on trying to kill a backline. You don't need to kill the backline. The pressure from a flank on the front line is arguably more important. Unless you can kill that Ana every single time, which, I mean, that's incredibly difficult. I don't think it's something you need to do. Because right now, you're not really doing anything. Compared to, like, if you're on the front line and you're discording this Rhine, that front line is going to crumble so fast. Because the whole thing is that, like, in this situation, the Rhine shield can't go 2 ways. Like, it can only go 1. You can look for these quick little 5-orb cheeky things, but if you don't get it off on the first try, like, you just need to keep rotating and then pressuring front line. Yeah. Arguably. It's going to be different depending on the comp, but See, now how you've already done this, you're like, okay, this guy's on the flank. I got to get to a better spot. So, like, if you're here, then that Rhine... There is really no option for a better spot because he needs to walk in here. For them, it's like they can. And if you're not going to kill them, I mean, no one else is going to shoot them. Everyone's shooting the Rhine. And then you're going to die. Right here, it's just like 5 orbing around corners. So like it's charging your 5 orb now, and then 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's fine. Just better aim. I mean, you'll get that. When you get that. Okay, spray mercy. I don't think you really need to give up this flank 100%. I think you can, if you see that the Pharah is not with mercy and the mercy's all the way back here, you can duel that Pharah any day. Any day with a Discord. She's 2 headshots. And her head hitbox is huge. So like right here, yep. I was gonna say play better natural cover, but you ended up doing that. Okay, that's good. But now you just need to be playing for that pick, and then yeah, natural cover playing a little bit too far out. It's a lot of small things. So I don't think I really need to go any farther unless you like. Do you strictly want me to go any farther with this? We have an extra 15 minutes if you want to keep going with it. Like that's totally
sure.
fine.
Let's run it. Let's run the rest. Yeah.
Because by the looks of it, it's not going to be too long. It's like okay. At this moment, you can't really flank unless it's like a mid-fight flank over here, in which that's like a normal flank. That's conventional. So like conventionally, you have to play conventional now because you're not already flanked. You're just playing with your team. It's totally fine. They have Rhine. They don't have a Lucio though, so like playing with the team's like kind of fine. I would be looking to play a little farther back and maybe trying to get. I mean, right here in terms of like if I was playing Zen here, I'd be looking to get some of that right click value through this little place here. I'd be honestly playing right here once they're already in and looking for a little cheeky play. Because I typically try to flank on this map if I'm playing Zenyatta. This right here though, yep, you're just left clicking. Right now, yep, the flank is good. This is a good flank. You can make this work and it's completely conventional. But here's my issue with it, right? The moment that you try to do this and it doesn't work the first time, you can just rotate back here or you switch your focus directly to the tank because you can get consistent value that way. For some reason, like they just don't look at you, so you can get away with it. But in higher levels, that's gonna hurt you a lot more. Yep, this is totally fine. I would consider this conventional play. Like this is totally good. You killed it on it, nice. You did hear the hook from behind. I don't know if your volume's on, or high enough, but you can. I heard that hog the whole time. You can't hear because I'm screen sharing, but you get what I mean.
Cool. Your voice is enough for me.
Right. Yep, right here. I'd be charging 5 orbs. If you're ever doing something passively, you should almost always be charging 5 orbs. But you go for a cheeky play for the soldier. Oh, this is gonna be great. Okay, that was good trigger discipline. You can tell you're a CS player.
Yeah, no, I actually was CS Valorant.
This is just aggressive. Okay, so like, there's no reason for you not to be discording that hog right there. Does that make sense?
I panicked right there. Yeah.
That's just like immediately just get into your mind because right there you should have died, but you wouldn't have died if you played correctly because you've been doing more damage to the hog, allowing you to get trank so that you could have gotten out of that situation. You have to discard the mercy. That's fine because your whole team's looking at it. This is just way too aggressive. Like. I'm not even gonna nitpick it because I trust that you'll watch my video on Thursday. Because you're a good homie.
I'm a Paz fan, bro.
You Paz stan.
I learned how to play Paz from Paz over watch videos before Before I even met you, I was watching Paz.
Let's fucking go. Okay, so that wasn't bad. That was honestly probably the best you played this entire map. Could have been better though. Let's kind of see where you go with this. Alright, just play with your team. Okay. They have a bastion, so like this is kind of your cue. So like here's the thing, right? If you want to do this, you just got to do it off the rip because that, or let your team know that you're gonna do that because now they're walking in and you're not ready. So you're with your Cassidy. You give him the orb. I like it. Discord the Sig. That's good. I mean, you force them off. You can just chill up here. I would play a little safer when you're actually going to do that. Like the high ground, the reason why high ground's good is because you don't necessarily need cover to avoid damage because like the angle makes it that way. So I'd play a little safer in terms of your movement there. But this is a good flank with your Cassidy. At this moment, though, again, I don't think playing that telephone box is good because you literally get the same angle here and more. So like, there's no reason for you ever to go anywhere but the high ground. Like telephone box is just not a good flank compared to this. And I would look for maps in terms of like maybe there's a better angle that would take about the same amount of time. Damn, this mic. Jeez. Yep, that's a good 5 word. Just with your Cassidy, this is fine. I mean, yeah, you have a flanky playstyle. I'm sure that you told your Cassidy that you're going to flank and then he told you to come along with you. And look what communication did. Look what communication did. It literally made this game a piece of cake. So if you do that every single time, you just win. So let's talk about some takeaways because I dumped a lot of information on you. It was very similar in terms of the thematic sense, but let's look at this. So, number 1. What is the most important thing? I would say that flanking is okay, but I would say like speed of thought, training yourself to think faster. Because I tell this to other people, but it works especially well for you because it's kind of like directly into your playstyle. Like, think about how you want to play the next fight because a good flank Zen isn't gonna flank every single fight because you need to keep it fresh. Sometimes you're going to use all the angles that you can possibly flank with, and then the most unpredictable thing for you to do is to literally play with your team. Like, playing correctly is going to actually throw them off, and that's the beauty of playing a flank Zen comp, is like you never know what they're actually going to do. Like, that's the beauty of it, so embrace that. I mean, it's okay. I don't think anyone in your chat is going to maul and be like, Kuroviii's not flanking on Zen this fight. What is he doing? I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to be like, all right, yo, playing with team, like, I don't know, Poggies, let's go. Or like Cat Jam, I don't know, good music, Cat Jam, I don't know, like some random shit. Twitch doesn't care much enough about that. Now Reddit, that's different, but Reddit's Reddit, so just stay away from that. So I would say speed of thought, thinking about like, and in terms of speed of thought, the ways that you can kind of make it easier on yourself is like tempo, in terms of what the enemy's playing. I think just tempo and everything. Do you understand what that means in terms of like speed and stuff?
Yes.
And like the characters they have as well. Like if they have Monkey and Diva especially, if they have Diva, you have to really make sure your flanks are like precise because Diva will destroy you. Like if they have Diva, you have to make sure that you're playing differently as opposed to like if they have a Hog and Orisa or like a Hog Sig. Like you can play a lot. They're not going to be able to force you out as much. Like the characters you're playing against are going to dictate how you're going to flank. And this is all just stuff you want to think about before you even play the game. Like think about what characters you're on and how much you really can flank and how much time they're going to let you flank. If they're running Ryan Zarya, you're not going to have as much time to flank as you do like a Sig Hog because that's literally what the comp is supposed to do. Are we on the same page?
We are on the same page.
Fan-dabby-dozy. Number 2, I would say cover is really important and not revealing yourself. Cover / positioning as well. I'll kind of lump this into both. Think about where there are think about all the areas to flank on the map that you're playing. Obviously you can't do that on the spot, so like maybe pick a map a day and just like look at it and in your mind. Okay, I used to do this in high school. I used to literally in class draw out maps in my notebook and like think of situations that could happen. I was a gamer nerd, bro. Like in Latin class when I was so bored, I vividly remember drawing out Hanamura 2nd and Temple of Anubis 2nd to think about what the most optimal place to play was for Bap and Ana. My Hanamura one was like good, but kind of faulty at the same time. My Anubis one I still use to this day. It is such a good way to think about that point for Baptiste. Just playing in Crow's Nest. So good. I'm not going to tell you to do that, but I mean, if you're ever bored out of your mind and you're like, I don't know, at some like reception or something and you have a napkin and a pen, fuck it, do it. I don't know. Maybe you can be a fucking degen like me. I don't know. But that'll kind of help you in terms of like what cover is good, what position is good.
Yep.
And this also, I think something, since you only play Zen for this flank playstyle, understanding if you have Transcendence or not, like what you can do with how excuse me, what positions you can play in. You can't always play in the same position like that statue without trans. So like if you have trans, you have to understand that's like a key that can unlock doors. Like, I don't know, COD Zombies. You have Transcendence, you can play in this area. I don't know. That kind of makes sense. A little bit cringe, but you get the point. And honestly, I think these two things are going to really help you. But the big thing is communication. Comms. I mean, I can't really teach you how to do comms unless I send you VOD codes where I flank, but I generally play conventionally. I do play very aggressively though, so maybe I could send you some VOD codes. I don't know. Comms and Vaxta. Do you know what Vaxta is?
No.
It's an aim trainer code that I suggest people to use for 30 minutes a day. You don't have to use it for 30 minutes, but I think it would help you a lot in terms of like killing Anas on the flank and getting that value when you need to. And like moving on with it. I think that would help you out a lot. Just playing Vaxta before you like stream or something might help you out. Not mandatory, I guess, but I mean, it is mandatory if you want to like make your aim better, but your aim's decent as is, whereas all these other things I think you should focus on more.
Got it.
Do you have any questions?
No, honestly, I think my mind's kind of gripping that, bro. I honestly, when this video goes out on YouTube, I'm definitely gonna watch it like from time to time again to kind of keep it wired in my brain so I don't forget, you know, and develop bad habits. So.
Yeah, it's not a memorization thing. Everything I gave you today is not going to work every single. Okay, it'll work every single time, but it's not like this isn't the answer. This is teaching you what you need to look for. So this is not just gonna magically make you a fantastic player when you're streaming. Or maybe it'll make you a little bit better when you're streaming today, but I think it's going to take time, but you'll realize that it's easier to kind of navigate your way through these games.
Yep.
So you don't have any other questions?
So you got a sneak peek for the video on Thursday?
We can talk after we're done recording. I can send you the script.
No, it's just for the viewers, bro. No, that's I think I understand it. Yeah, this is very helpful.
All right, well, I'm gonna close out the video then. Thank you everyone for watching this far. I know actually a few of you do, but if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to check out Kuroviiii. If I remember, I'll put your link in the description of this video. Just send it to me on Tuesday. If I forget, I probably will, but
it's just,
you know, you'll let me know if it's not there.
Twitch.tv, Twitch.tv/Kuroviiii with 4 eyes.
4 eyes. 4 eyes. Also on Twitter too.
On Twitter too. Yeah, I got some crazy clips on there.
Crazy clips. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all for watching. Make sure you check out Kuroviiii. But until next time, I've got to peace out and pass out. I'll see you in the next one.